everybody. How we doing? Good morning to you on this gloomy Monday morning. It's not gloomy because of the weather. It's gloomy because it's the last day of spring break, and I'm very disappointed about that. I'm already thinking of reasons to call in sick tomorrow. But speaking of spring break, I had a few books I was thinking about reading, and it came down to these two right here. Which one do you think I read? April Fool's is what everybody was telling me to read. But I've never been good at taking good advice, so I read Spring Break, which is book 4 in the Terror Academy series, written by Nicholas Pine between 93 and 95. Now, listen, I was just wanting to have an easy breezy read, to take it easy during spring break and not think too much. I have to do enough of that in my job as a teacher, right? So I wasn't looking for anything that was going to transcend the genre in any way, just a nail-biting, edgier seat thriller, horror novel, Spring Break fit the bill. It sure did. So what's going on is this girl, Laura Hollister. It's the last day of school there at Central Academy, which is a high school in Port City where all of these books take place, right? And all of her friends are talking about the fun they're going to have, what they're going to do on vacation. And she's bummed out because she found out at the last minute that her mother and father, and she's got a brother and a sister too, younger siblings, are going to take her to a family retreat in a cabin in Maine. And she's all bummed out, and she kind of plots her revenge. She wants to run away. She wants to leave. But her character does develop, and at the end, she's not playing the little wimpy girl that complains and whines a lot. She takes the helm, she takes charge, and she has to defend her family, basically. And I like seeing that development. And I think she was 17 years old in the book. So when we start off, we are driving, right, from Port City to Maine, and the family has to stop and get gas, get some snacks, those kind of things, and they run into some folks from the backwoods. I hate the word redneck, and I damn sure don't like hillbilly, but that's how they were being portrayed in this book. And so, they're like, "You got a pretty mouth, and you're going to marry my boy." And the father hears it, and he's not having that shit, so they get into a battle of words, right? I don't think any punches are thrown or anything like that. But the father threatens them, and they threaten him, and a cop pulls up and says, "Look, you guys go on home," and because the cop knows these people, he's familiar with them, and he asks the Hollisters what they're doing, where they're going, and all that, and they tell him, and so he lets them follow him to the pond. It's called I can't remember. It's something pond, right? But he's familiar with the place, so they drive up there with him, and then he turns off and leaves them there. Well, we all know how these kind of movies turn out, right? Filmed in a cabin in the woods, out in the middle of nowhere. They've offended the locals somehow, so they really have to worry. So, our main character, Laura, is hearing things, and she's seeing things, and she thinks she's being followed, and she thinks that, she's in danger. And it's not long before she finds out that that's true. She is in danger. They did follow her, and they're looking for revenge. And not just revenge. They want to take this girl home and to their trailer, and she's going to be a wife to probably 3 dudes, but one for sure, named Jacob. Now, what happens is kind of strange going forward because there's some supernatural seeds planted. For one, the parents realize that Laura's just bummed out and they want to do something nice for her, but they damn sure don't want Charlie around because they don't like that relationship. So they call her best friend Kimmy, who comes to the cabin unbeknownst to her, and the father even buys the ticket. And it's Laura's birthday as well, so Kimmy brings a Ouija board. A Ouija board, that's right. And weird things start to happen. They contacted something. I'm not sure who it was or what, and that's never really addressed in the story. You just kind of have to suspend disbelief and go with it. But because of that contact, she starts hearing voices and seeing lights, and she's not sure if she's going crazy or if this is really happening. She even thinks she has a brain tumor. That's addressed. So all hell breaks loose, basically. There's a body count, a high body count. One person gets set on fire. One person gets trampled to death by a moose. Another person gets shot like 3 times. And then another person gets killed by being crushed between a tree and a car. Now, this book is really tense. There are some some moments where you just can't wait to get to the next page. And that's what I was looking for, because that's what keeps you going and turning the pages. Those what people sometimes say cheesy chapter endings, but really I like it, and it's a common element of these types of books. And so that tension was there, and it was growing, and it was palpable. And when we get to the very end, we find out that she has been getting advice from the Ouija board. Like I said, we don't know who this person is or where it's coming from, but she's told what to do. For example, she gets words like fire and attack. And again, if you leave, they'll die. And that voice becomes somewhat repetitious. I mean, to the point of being so redundant that I would kind of just breeze over it. But at one point, this spirit in this Ouija board tells this girl to set this guy on fire, right? She says, go get a lighter and go get a bottle of like hairspray or something with alcohol in it and shoot a flame at this guy. And I kind of saw that as silly, for one, but also a logical flaw, because they're in a cabin in the woods during a snowstorm, and the paragraph right before that, they mentioned how windy it was. So that scene could have been set up more efficiently to where, she got a knife or a vase or a 2x4 or a big-ass shoe, but you don't want to look for a can of hairspray and a lighter and jump out a window and spray a guy with a flame, man. Come on, because all you gotta do is kind of do this and the flame goes past you, and that's just gonna piss somebody off anyway, if you can get it lit. So after the high body count and the novel's in its resolution, right? It's trying to resolve everything. The character Laura returns back to her home in Port City, and she's just distraught and complacent and melancholic because of the aftermath of all of the violence that the family went through. And I can't really say anything else because of spoilers, but I thought that was realistic. Think about it. Nobody wants to hurt anybody else. Well, there are those out there. But most people don't want to hurt anybody. And when they're put into situations where they have to, they suffer from that. Depression is something that happens. I mean, people go through depression. They don't want to be around anybody. They can't eat. They can't sleep because they were forced into a situation that they didn't want to be in, and they had to fight their way out of it. And I think I mentioned this in another video, but that's what good writers do. They put their characters in really, really tough situations and then make them work themselves out of it. Listen, that's that. If you get a chance, I hope you read Spring Break, Terror Academy, Nicholas Pine, because this is a nail biter, edge of your seat. It's not perfect, but it's fun, and that's all we're looking for, fun. All right, I'm going to get back to it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and as always, stay cool and keep reading.